Everybody, shall I move to next topic? For today's topic, we are going to have, if you want me to repeat it, I'll repeat it again. In A star algorithm, here, this is the path, right? Actually, this is the actual path, A to F to G to I to J. So we, when doing, sorry, when tracing the path from F to G and F to H, we got more cost for this one, right? We got more cost for H traversal. So we went in F2G, A to F2G. So while analyzing from G, so there is only one node, right? So no need to calculate. You need to, if even though if you calculate also, there is no use. There is only one path you can go is this way. That is 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1. This one. Again you will get less cost only. Even you come this route also, you will get more cost. So there is only one option. From I you are having, from node I, you are going to have node E, J and H. So this is EHJ. This is what we calculated here. See here, EHJ. So that's why we got route this one. So we need to reach finally J is the our destination node. Okay, this is the performance we have discussed in the previous class, right? So this is the performance of A star algorithm. So other name for A star algorithm is also called as best first search. We have discussed already. So what is the major disadvantages? It's mostly runs out of space for long period of time. Why? Because it takes more time if the size of the tree or graph is very big, right? Yeah. So G of n is this one as we discussed. Suppose if from A to B, so this is G of n and H of n will be your reaching the final node. Suppose I want to reach from A to F to I. What is the G of n? 3, 1, 3 for this path, and 3, 7, what you call 3, 2, right? This is the path. No, not this one, 3, sorry. 3 plus 7 plus 2 is your G of n, and H of n will be 1. From A to F to G to I am speaking. If the path is from A to F to G to I, and forget about this one. I is your, suppose if I is your final node, is my screen shared properly? Yeah. Suppose we have a small 1 minute discussion here. Suppose I want to clarify you one thing. Suppose this is my goal node. Suppose better understand that there is no other graph here. Forget about the this part of graph. You want to reach final node to I from A. So what is the G of n? 3 plus 1 plus 3 is your G of n, and H of n will be 1, right? Similarly for this path, suppose you have got optimal cost for this path from here to here. So what is your G of n? Can anybody say? What is your G of n? You can post your answers in chat box so that I can move to next concept. What is your G of n for the path A to F to H to I? Anybody in the class? I place like this only. Anybody say if the path is from A to F to H to I? Can anybody say what is G of n? Can anybody say what is G of n in the chat box immediately? Shall I keep the graph? Yeah. A to F to H to I. A to F to H to I. What is G of n? I want answers within a minute. A to F to H to I. Yeah, one answer I got. We'll see it. Let the remaining people answer. What is G of n only I'm asking, not total cost. I didn't say H of n, only G of n. What is G of n? What is G of n? What is the formula? F of n equal to G of n plus H of n. What is G of n? F2, shall I place again? Yeah. A to F to H to I. I is the goal node. What is G of n? I'm asking. What is G of n? Total cost I'm asking. Total cost. A to F to H to I. Only g of n cost. Hope you understood my point, everybody. A2, F2, H2I. What is the total cost? Make it fast, please. We need to move it to next topic also. 3 people answered. E7, sorry, not E7. H not answered 9. 9 is for the previous. Okay, fine. G9 answered 12. Exactly. Exactly 12 it is. D1 answered 3. YU answered 3. E3 answered 7. Again is E3 answered 7. E7 answered 12. 12 is the answer. How? See, G of n is 3 plus 7 plus 2 only. Your H of n is 1 here. I said n number of times. So 3 plus 7 plus 2 is what? How much? 12. Still anybody having any doubt? Right now only we'll sort it out. If you want me to repeat this A star graph algorithm, I'll make you again. I'll make you understand again.
Sir, how to find h of n, sir?
How to find H of n? Okay, fine. Still any more? One query only I got from this. Still anybody? H of n is your goal nodes. What you call weight here? One node above there is a point, right? One. This is your destination, right? So destination cost is 1 here. So this is your H of n. Why? Because I said path A to F to H to I. Suppose, for example, A to B is there. We assume that A to B is your goal node. 1 second. One question they asked is what one of the student asked is, so how to find H of n? Right now I said G of n. How to find H of n is the question, right? How to find H of n? What is our formula? This is our formula. F of n equal to G of n plus H of n. As I said, G of n is the cost of the path from start node to node n. H of n is heuristic function. That means your final what you call goal node of that one. N is the goal node. Okay. So now how to find H of n from this? As I said, A to B. A is your source node and B is the goal node. Suppose assume that there is only one path. So G of n is 6, H of n is 8. We can't calculate, suppose if we got less path for A to F to G, we can't calculate in the middle 6. Why? Because our goal node is G only, not F. So this is H of n. Hope you understood my point. G naught. G naught, have you understood what is H of n? While tracing path, I'm saying. D naught, you understood or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That
Okay.
will be given in the question only, sir.
What? What? Pardon?
That h of n will be given in the question only, sir. Beside the node.
Yeah, this will be given in the question only. Why? Because we don't know the distance. Huh? If you don't know the distance to Jaipur, how you calculate? From Delhi to Jaipur, if you don't know the distance of Jaipur, how you will choose which path? Which route you will choose, right? Suppose you want to reach from your home to college. Okay. If you don't know the what you call from your home to Gandhimaisam, what is the distance? How you will reach to MLRIT? You need to know. You need to add all those middle of the distances, right? Whatever you are reaching to the points, all the points, there will be some points for to reach the path, right? See, you don't have one single route, you have multiple routes, right? When you come from home to college. Like this, you treat, you assume in a realistic way. Suppose this is your home, this is college. There are n number of ways to reach. Suppose these are the different paths to reach to college from your home. So how you will calculate? You will find the shortest path, I will roam all the way and come to college. You'll find the shortest path, right? Some MCET exam is going on, suppose you want to reach to the destination finally through Google Map. So Google Map doesn't, you are going to develop an algorithm, or you are going to write an algorithm to the machine in such a way that it should not misguide you, or it should not confuse you to reach to the goal node. అది ఎక్కువ కాస్ట్ చెప్పి మిమ్మల్ని గోల్ నోడ్కి రీచ్ అయ్యేలాగా చేస్తే అది వాట్ ఈస్ ద యూజ్ ఆఫ్ అ మెషిన్ దే? వాట్ ఈస్ ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్? దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు టీచ్ టు యూ. You need to write an algorithm in an intelligent way. It should have a heuristic optimal solution. Hope you understood my point. Why
Yes,
we are
sir.
discussing all these things, right? Still any more discussion? Still any more doubts? Anybody wants me to repeat A star algorithm? Do come up with your what you call messages in chat box. How can I understand? I can't read. Even in class also we can't read your minds. How can we read in online? 6. Why it is 6? Tell me. E3. E3. Why it is 6 total cost? Huh?
సార్ అది ఎఫ్కి అయితే 6 అని పెట్టాను సార్, కానీ మీరు హెచ్ అన్నారు కదా, సో
Okay.
అది బై మిస్టేక్లో పడిపోయింది.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. Answering is answer చేయడమే what you call is your ability. Whatever the answer might be, right or wrong, you are understanding the concept at least something. Don't keep quiet. You need to try to answer all the things. Tell me, I didn't get any what you call queries from you people about A star algorithm. Have you understood or not? I placed entire PPT in classroom. You can go to classroom, you can download it, and you can download with, you can watch it in what you call, you can understand in Google Sheets. From Google Sheet file you can download the PPT also. ఓకే, గూగుల్ స్లైడ్స్ నుంచి మీరు చదవచ్చు, గూగుల్ స్లైడ్స్ నుంచి ఫైల్కి వెళ్ళి డౌన్లోడ్ కూడా చేసుకోవచ్చు మీరు. ఓకేనా? Okay, shall we go to next concept or not? I'm not getting any queries from you people. I'm not getting any response from you people. Yes or no? Have you understood my point or no? A star algorithm అర్థమైందా? Yes, E3 said yes. Remaining people, E3 said yes only. చెప్పండి, మీరు చెప్పకపోతే ఎలా తెలుస్తున్నా? Shall we repeat? Shall we discuss again A star algorithm, or we can move to next concept? There is a constraint satisfaction problem. F7 left the meeting. Why these people are leaving the meeting? Huh? Okay. Now we have almost wasted 10 to 15 minutes, right? I'll move to next concept. So the next topic is your one more it's not yeah. Next topic is your constraint satisfaction problem. Very, very important concept. This is your today's topic. Constraint. The upcoming classes we are going to see up to these two topics. We are going to complete it right now. Applications of CSP on Sudoku puzzle, constraint satisfaction problem. We are going to see first two topics, and the later on we'll discuss about the crypt arithmetic problem in AM game playing. Very important concept. As I'm keeping every time the same slide of outcome. So what is the meaning of this outcome is, you need to apply all the basic principles of AI. Why? Because you need to as an intelligent agent, we need to train the machine. So we should have some basic knowledge, right? The basic knowledge of all these things, and we need to have some problem solving skills. We need to find some what you call different kinds of techniques to implement into machine, so that the machine cannot do any kind of a mistake if we what you call if we give any kind of algorithmic things to the machine. Okay, algorithms, if we dump any algorithms, if we make a machine to learn all these things, it should not what you call mislead you to get to the final solution. Okay. So the next topic is constraint satisfaction problem. A very important concept and very easy, but we need to understand what is the exact concept of constraint satisfaction problem. As you are well aware that we have discussed so many state space such as like BFS or DFS and iterative deepening also, and we have discussed A star algorithm also to overcome those disadvantages. Today class we are going to see what is the use of this constraint satisfaction problem, why we require to solve these kind of things, all those things, what is constraint, what are all those things, we'll see here. So we are much familiar about game playing, right? So we know how, what are the rules and regulations of game playing, right? When we play any kind of a game, what are the constraints, what are the limitations, we are going to call it as those limitations and conditions, we're going to call it as constraints. So to reach from level 1 to level 2 there are some constraints. To reach from, to understand the game, suppose if you have a 8 puzzle problem, you have some constraint, you have some constraints, right? You can move the tile up, down, left, right, these are the directions. You have some limit, and limitations is also there. You have some backtracking also, and whereas in chess you can't, once you make a move you can't make it back. In tic-tac-toe also. So there are some rules which have been implemented and some limitations which have been implemented in these kind of game playing things. So we need to develop such kind of game playing things by using these kind of constraints and limitations. So so to consider that one, we are having some finite set of variables which stores some values, right? We are going to have some finite set of values which store some values. Here one thing we need to remember is uh, same value should not be assigned to different variables. Suppose v1 is having 5, so v2 should not have 5 value to the variable. You know what is a variable and how to assign a value to a variable. So these kind of finite set of variables we can have, where we can assign a value to a variable, but those values should not repeat it again. So why? Because this is one of the most important condition we are going to have. This is the condition, and we are going, these are the variables, and we are going to have set of discrete values as a domain from which the solution is picked. So here we are going to have discrete, there are data consists of different kinds of discrete, continuous where you can have, there is no limit in the values are going to be assigned continuously, where you don't have a limit. Whereas discrete where you have fixed interval. Suppose we are playing some game like sudoku. So like there is a one of the important constraint is that you need to use numbers from 1 to 9 only. This is what we call it as a discrete range of values. Some range will be specified to play such kind of a sudoku puzzle or such kind of things. So one is variable. So each variable should have a different, the better example is sudoku you can consider, but each value should have unique number, not same number. Finite set of constraints. So c equal c1 c2 up to so on, some constraints will be there. Something like just now I said, suppose if you want to move from level 1 to level 2, there are some constraints will be there. So you need to get these many points to go to level 2. Even though if you solve that level 1, you are having some constraint, like you need to have some these kind of things to enter into level 2, or you need to have some this much of requirements. Like suppose if you are nowadays you people are much aware of playing games, right? Suppose if you want to play some other things, this person has to has, suppose you are playing some shooting games or other things in mobile or somewhere else in laptop, this user has to has these many requirements. So some finite set of constraints also we can have to a user, where he can move from level 1 to level 2, or the system can act according to that one. So here we need to design a system in such a way that we can have some limitations, domains, constraints, and all those things. Please here one more thing is mentioned. Please note that the elements in domain can be both continuous and discrete, but in AI we generally only deal with the discrete values. So discrete values means some range of values. Some games like kind of thing we can have some some what you call more limitations and constraints, whereas some solving other algorithms we can have will follow only discrete values. Okay, so this is about the variables and the domains and constraints. Okay, so the better example of game playing is will follow some limitations, rules and regulations, and what are the things we need to consider while playing a game. These are the things we'll follow. This is about what we call constraint satisfaction concepts. We'll move into the next slide. So while applying such kind of a technique, so what is this combinational explosion we'll discuss here right now? What is a combinational? While when we discuss about min-max or what you call basic algorithms, starting heuristic searches, state space searches, and what you call tic-tac-toe problem, towers of Hanoi, or when we discuss about BFS, DFS, iterative deepening, A-star algorithm, so when we considered about iterative deepening, we'll call it as a best first search algorithm. It follows BFS and DFS, whereas in A-star algorithm, it follows heuristic solutions. So there are some combinational combinational kind of explosion will follow for those kind of solving a problem, right? Game is also one kind of a what you call problem solving technique when we implement such kind of things. Meaning, as you move one step further in solving the problem, the number of possible solution states exponentially increases. Yeah, obviously, we have seen in 8 puzzle when we started applying SR algorithm to 8 puzzle, we got at a depth 1 or depth 2, we got same cost. So we have expanded those two solution also. So while tracing the path or while reaching to the solution or finding solution, we may get n number of possible solutions and states. So which increases to reach you to the final destination or final solution. So by applying CSP technique, what is the other name for, what is the abbreviation of CSP? Constraint satisfaction problem. You need to remember this one, very, very important. When we say CSP technique, it is called as constraint satisfaction problem. Okay. So here I mentioned in this slide also, a constraint satisfaction, CSP. So by applying CS, we'll apply here. So the major word, the important word or professional way to speak about, we are going to apply these techniques. We are not implementing, we are applying the technique. Okay. We are applying CSP techniques means enforcing strong limitations or constraints of the problem. By doing so, suppose if we implement or such kind of strong limitations and constraints, sometimes it is not possible to get, we might get invalid solutions. Suppose example, if we have a big we have a large tree, just now we discussed about A-star algorithm, like if we have a more kind of a nodes, suppose we have a large nodes or more number of nodes or big tree or complex trees like structure, complex graph like structure, it is unable to find solution, we may get invalid solutions. So we need to stick to one kind of thing is, we need to write an algorithm or we need to make a machine, such an intelligent one, in such a way that whatever the task might be, whatever the complex problem might be, it may guide you, it should guide you to reach to the final solution. Just now we discussed about reaching from home to the final destination of your college. It should guide you in such a way that you need to reach to the destination in short period of time with a low cost heuristic way, not in roaming all the directions and killing the time or wasting of time, and reaching to the destination is waste of time. Why? Because you need to reach in time and you need to what you call attend such kind of exams which have been conducted in college, right? If you come slowly, so you may go in some trauma, like you will feel nervous, you may got disturbed. So the system should not mislead you, or it should not give invalid solutions, it should give some proper solutions. So we have seen this kind of thing if there are more state spaces or large complex tree or complex graph. There are two main exploration. So we have seen this in exhaustive search and what you call informed search and greedy search, right? So used to explore search space BFS and DFS, there are n number of techniques and many more techniques like A star search also, but they are in some way derivatives of BFS. So even though we use A star algorithm, we are using what you call uninformed search by bringing back the BFS and DFS into A star. At some point of time, we are using the disadvantages of BFS and DFS also to overcome the problems. So A star allows both BFS and so iterative deepening may allows both of the things. So to avoid such kind of things, we have gone with A star search, right? So A star is not implementing BFS or DFS. So iterative deepening is implementing BFS and DFS to mention you that point. So that's why we should not bring back those kind of disadvantages into the present upgraded algorithms or upgraded solutions, right? So that's why we need to find such kind of solutions, alternatives, like to overcome BFS and DFS disadvantages. We go with A star. Why we go with A star means there is no guarantee of solution when we apply BFS and DFS. Why? Because if the complex tree allows you to provide invalid solutions, we are going for A star algorithm. Okay. Moving to the next slide. Yeah. So in real world game playing also, you might be applying some strong limitations, right? So it is very difficult and hard to write an algorithm for an AI to AI in order to make an intelligent system. So it is very difficult and hard until and unless you put most of the efforts to develop such kind of interesting algorithms. I want to mention one important example when we went to JNTU Kukatpalli for a small conference, a workshop. Like one of the employer, one of colleague doctorate said that we have an interesting algorithm. He is going to what you call review many international conferences algorithm. What you call papers. He said that one interesting algorithm which I found is he said that in a realistic way, which he observed in a real incident, right? So one of the bike, one bee is following like anything. Honeybee, you might have remembered, right? What is an honeybee? Honeybee, while he is going in a car, in front of car, one bike is passing away from his car. He's saying that one interesting situation I observed is one of the bee is following that bike continuously. Continuously means, uh, of course, many bees might been following if we roam outside also. But what he mentioned is some long distance also that honeybee is following that bike continuously. What is the reason is he didn't understood why it is following him for long period of time. What might be the reason? Suppose bike is there, some bullet kind of a bike, or right side some bag is there where you can place your luggage, right? So this is one important thing he observed while developing an algorithm. Why it is following, he came to know that after crossing that bike, he came to know that there are so many bees inside that bike, what you call pack, what you call right side of that bag to place all his belongings. So that means there might be, this bee is thinking that there might be a queen bee inside that bike. See, such an interesting thing he found out. For that he wrote an algorithm. Why that bee is following that bike continuously, assuming that there might be a queen bee inside that box. So such kind of algorithms also been implemented in such kind of things. So to overcome many problems, what is interesting in that is you can write, he didn't discuss about much about algorithm. He said that based on that also we can write algorithm. One bee is following, assuming that there is a queen bee inside that bike. So very interesting concept, right? So such kind of concepts also he wrote algorithm, and he reviewed also, and he explained a few things only. He didn't explain why, because these people are having patents to those algorithms. So even though if you find any such kind of interesting algorithms to implement in AI machines to make machines intelligent one, you can come up with some interesting algorithm. There are n number of algorithms where you can explore in online. You can find out just like we discussed about basic algorithms, step by step, A star algorithm has 7 steps to follow these kind of things, right? So this is one important point I want to tell you in realistic way, right? So where you apply some more limitations, if you apply more constraints, if you apply, there might be a possibility of invalid solutions. Difficult to what you call make machine to understand. It should not what you call uh, misguide you, or it should not make you to think that we can't reach to the final solution, which means as you enforce strong constraints on the problem, you also need to maintain the original problem you are solving, and if the constraints you apply to the problem are not strong, the solution may not converge during such what you call during such a phase. So you need to understand, you need to understand first, then you need to make the system to understand in such a way. How? By writing steps in a meaningful way. You are writing an algorithm, you need to write the steps in a meaningful way. So you should not make AI in such a kind of a difficult and hard. So it is very difficult to write a intelligent algorithm, but we can do it if possible. Okay, so moving to the next slide. So these are the applications of constraint satisfaction problem. Okay, these are the crypt arithmetic. We'll discuss one by one. No problem. We have a example also to discuss about constraint satisfaction problem. Some of the popular problems that can be solved using constraint satisfaction problem. Okay, what is constraint? You know that by applying limitations, conditions, and all those things, like applying domains, variables, and constraints, we can solve such kind of a problems. First one is script arithmetic problem. Means like you need to what is the script arithmetic problem is, you develop one word called send, and you develop one more word called more. Send plus more equal to money, such kind of a wording algorithm you are going to write. That is script arithmetic algorithm. Like for example, means the word called send should have some unique numbers, and more should have some unique numbers. If both numbers will add, it should not we should not get some what you call out of the values, like we have got 1 to 9 only, or it should not reach greater than 1 or less than 1. So it should have some suppose s plus m, send plus more equal to money, we need to create such kind of a word, like what you call game playing, one of the crypt arithmetic what you call numeric problem. Okay, so we'll discuss that one also, crypt arithmetic. No need to worry in the next class. Sudoku, you might have well experience about this game, right? Every day you are going to come across this in newspapers, English newspapers and Telugu newspapers also. I've taken one of the best example of that one. Sudoku a number grid, right? So you are going to have a 1 to 9 like tiles or grid like structure, and where you can have conditions and limitations, like rules and regulations, like same number should not repeat in row and column wise, like that, right? So you have been come across with Sudoku problems, and n-queen problem also, where you can have a such kind of things like grid like what you call matrix like structure, n-queen problem. So same queens, no queen shares the same row, column, or diagonal, right? So that is one major constraint, right? So map coloring, right? You might have studied in discrete structures in the last unit, right? Graph coloring or something like. So this is map coloring, where same beside regions should not have the same color, coloring different regions of map, ensuring no adjacent regions have the same color. You might have come across, this is also one of the crypt sorry constraint satisfaction problem. And one more thing, you might have come across crossword also. These are the applications of constraint satisfaction problem. Crossword, right? So they will give some hints at the bottom of the what you call things, and uh, while reading that one, you need to frame one word crossword, like one word then followed by the next word, where it may lead to one simple word, alphabetical adjacents, where you can round off and you can say that this is one word, make you one word. Why? Because he has bottom, they will give so many hints to find out the crossword persons, right? And you might have come across also Latin square problem also, which we are going to discuss in the next upcoming classes. Okay, so these are the applications of constraint satisfaction problem. We'll see one thing here. This is just now we discussed about, right, crossword problem, right? So what is the first one? It is showing here a fun picnic game across it is saying, that means across. Okay, so down it is saying across and down. So both you can have horizontal and vertical. So a first one is a picnic container that keeps food cold, right? So a fun picnic game played with a disc shaped toy. So the word might be frizzy here, right? Basket is one more word here. You can find n number of words where it is showing there are 18 words. You can assume here by understanding these hints, you can assume that there are 18 hints. 18 means so there are 18 words are there. Where you can, by saying itself, we can find out napkin, hot dog, fireworks, charcoal, so ketchup. All these are the what you call crosswords where you can find out. Okay, so this is a better example of constraint so the constraint is that they will provide you hint and you need to cross the word, that is crossword puzzle, right? So there is a game playing also crossword puzzle, or word game is also there. Such kind of interesting algorithms where you can write and make people to what you call understand that game and play that game, make them to play that game. That is one important point where I want to mention. So any more queries here? Up to now it's okay. Hope you understood all these slides, right? So applications of consent satisfaction problem, and these are the slides which we discussed about variables, discretes, and constraints, whatever we discuss here right now. So next one is this is uh, one thing which I want to share with you. This I have taken, which we have taken from newspaper, everyday newspapers, where we are going to like get like this grid-like structure, right? So you might be familiar with Sudoku, right? So logical appearing in the puzzle section of most newspapers. So every day you might have seen all these things. So what you call constraint satisfaction problem can be applied to the Sudoku puzzle. We'll understand this one in these steps in this slide. For example, consider the Sudoku problem. Suppose that a row, column, and block already have 3 and 7, which means that suppose assume that a row and a column which is having 3 and 7, row wise or column wise, these numbers should not repeat it again. That is one a major constraint, right? So basic constraint satisfaction problem you are supposed to solve keeping in mind some constraints like the one of the important discrete like 1 to 9 they have given. So you can't keep the numbers more than 9, or you can't keep the value 0 here in the Sudoku. So variables take on values from the domain. The conditions governing how a variable will choose its domain, also known as, yeah. So you need to make a conditions in such a way like that, row wise, column wise, or you can have a 9 by 9 matrix, and you can divide that 9 by 9 matrix into sub cubes like things. We'll see in the next slide. So this one is, so this the left side is Sudoku and the right one is the answers. You might have been much familiar about this one. You are much familiar about these things, right? So such kind of uh, things where we are going to come across in constraint satisfaction problem. So the objective is to fill a 9 by 9 grid with the digits so that each column, each row, and each of the 9 3 by 3 subgrids. There are subgrids also there, right? In this one, where you can have 3 by 3 subgrids. So if you solve subgrids also, you might be getting total 9 by 9 matrix or 9 by 9 like grid like structure. Suppose by understanding first one, you can see here. So here in 2 is there in 2 and 9 is there in column wise, and 2 and 8 is there in column wise, and 8 is there at column wise, and 4 is there at column wise and row wise. So you can keep from 1 to 9 numbers. You can you can understand in such a way that by understanding this subgrid, this row we can't keep one, right? So by understanding this row, this column, sorry, so you can't keep 4 and 5. Like that, you can't keep 7 and 8 for this fourth row, four numbered row, and 2 8 numbered column. You can't keep 1 and 6. So here you can keep something like in this 3 by 3, you can keep 1 here, right? Obviously. So 1 is not repeated in this row, and 1 is not repeated in this row, right? So row and column 1 is not repeated. So you can keep 1 here. That is, so some subgrids are also being mentioned over here, right? Fine. So this is one more example which I want to show you how to solve what you call Sudoku puzzle. You are well aware of how to solve this kind of a constraint and limitation kind of Sudoku puzzle. So this is also one of the example of constraint satisfaction problem. Yeah. Just a couple more slides are there. Simple Sudoku puzzles can be solved by using a brute force approach of trying out every possible number in every empty cell using backtracking. But this Sudoku kind of a puzzle, brute force is applicable to only small Sudoku kind of a puzzles, right? In every empty cell using backtracking. Yeah, this is also backtracking is also possible in this Sudoku, but this solution is not a scalable for moderate and hard puzzles. So brute force is not applicable to what you call scalable and hard puzzles. Suppose you 9 by 9 grid, it's okay. But if you have a big like a 30-40 kind of a grid where this Sudoku puzzle been a harder one, here you can observe in this third point. Brute force can't be applicable for what you call moderate and hard puzzles. Even moderate also not possible. Not forget about hard, moderate also not possible, like Sudoku kind of things. So that is one major problem. Okay, it has been established that approximately 5.96 into 11 power 26 final grids exist, but trying all of them out is going to take a long time, more than 13 billion years. You can understand here to solve such kind of a grids. 5.96 into 11 power 26 final grids exist, and it takes 13 billion years to solve such kind of a Sudoku problem. So we can't write such kind of an algorithm. We can't write such a, what you call uh, reliable algorithm, or most what you call harder algorithm for such kind of a thing. So it is applicable to constant satisfaction problem, or which is brute force can be applicable to only small puzzles. So in order to solve very hard Sudoku puzzles in reasonable time constraints, we need intelligent algorithms. There are n number of intelligent algorithms. If you are able to solve such kind of to overcome this 13 billion years problem, you can write such kind of an intelligent algorithm to the machine. Okay, so that it can solve any kind of a larger grid puzzle. Okay. So this is the one thing, right? This is a colored map. So no adjacent map should, so no adjacent region should have the same color. This is Sudoku. This is n by n queen problem, right? So no adjacent queen should be placed in such kind of a things. So these are the some of the constraint satisfaction problem which I want to discuss today. And this is a crypt arithmetic problem in AI. We'll discuss in the upcoming classes. It takes almost one class. Okay. It is also one kind of crypt arithmetic, what you call constraint satisfaction problem only, crypt arithmetic problem, where you will have some what you call word and alphabets, and you will give some numbers to those alphabets, and you make them add, and it will get one more magical word. So that is n plus more equal to money. Just now I have given example. So we'll see in the Monday class. Okay. So today we'll have a small quiz of 3 questions. All right, 3 questions. We'll see how many will answer. All of you type in Google search. All of you type this word called Socrative student login. Okay, all of you type. Sorry, I'm getting a problem, system problem here. All of you. Hey, Hemant, you can put that one here. Okay. See, here I'm having a laptop problem. I can't open chat here also. Okay, Hemant, you can. Hemant. You can put that link in the chat box. Okay, you can put link in the chat box. Socrative, SOCRATIV. All of you type. All of you type SOCRATIV. Socrative in Google search and student login. Yeah, very good. Like this. Okay, and I'll tell you